Alright, so then before I continue where we left off, let's quickly remind you what I've been talking about in the previous part, link in the description. And yeah, basically I was talking about what sorts of decks we have, blue control decks, red hyper aggressive decks, green mid-range decks, and basically as per reps and tokens or gift decks. So basically we have like four sides of the spectrum in a way in the format. And then there are some like pretty cool tools Control has, and this allows in here just because it's an extra tag for blue-white against blue-black and other control decks, for example. And then it also has multiple ways to actually, disrupt opponent's plan. And it's not just about like control on control, it's for different matchups. But yeah, the tools are there. Even though some are quite strange and suspicious. Midrange has a lot of things it can do, and yeah, it can actually deal very well with the Scarecrow basically just taking over it. It can has like very cool like spell bursts for all the control matchups, for example. Midrange even has Rebuke for the tokens matchup or for the gifts matchup. Timor Energy even started to play Vizier as well. I'm not sure exactly why, but it's not that hard to picture those scenarios. Basher is a card that people kind of forgot about, and different Nisas is also a way to get through in token/gift matchups. And then there are like some curious things. So I talked about Nisas, and then Scavenger isn't there in Timor, well, for all sorts of reasons, to fizzle Scarab God and then extra life gain against red decks, for example. People start to play Tyrant and Timor, even though blue-black is ready for it with Viziers, with the clone effects, but then, well, if it's unanswered, it can run away. I'm not sure what actually pushed people, I mean, even people like Seth Manfield during the US Nationals to go to Tyrant to try it out. Not sure what was the thing about it. Invocation is here just because it's from the top 12 or whatever, top 16 nationals lists of red-white approach. Then you have things like commit memory and start finish, which are not exactly tech cards, but kind of just like valuable, flexible cards. So then we have all sorts of things for all different occasions, Tracker and Dream Stealer for gift decks, basically. Aggro has a few things, but yeah, basically, let's talk a bit more here. Sorry for this quick accidental click through. What I wanted to say was that Hostage Taker varies from great to pretty bad, depending on the situation. But I think it's a great card, and blue-black midrange went second, I believe, so less in the finals of Brazilian Nationals. So, and that deck is super sweet. I kind of like it even more than any gifts or tokens variant. And it had some like good results online and now on paper as well. So, Raska is pretty cool, like out of the sideboard for tokens decks. And yeah, Dream Stealer out of the gift is actually a pretty ridiculous card, better than like Hypnotic Spectre or something. But then, if we rewind a little bit, so Timor will adapt, and the cards that you see in Timor list right now not necessarily will be there moving on. So it's a deck where a lot of people experiment with a lot of things. Not sure if Mentor is actually that great, whether I want it at all in Mardu, whether it deserves a sideboard slot in Mono Red. Ferocidon is an amazing card that people like should play more if they haven't, and it does everything. Some people nowadays even put it main deck. Blasting cannons is a bit weird. It's kind of like Chandra, but it's harder like to remove. And yeah, it's great. It's probably much better in mono red because you have like more ways to flip it in one turn. Cards of Expertise is just a niche card that can swing the game in your favor, but then again, a lot of the threats that you can take, you can't really target, or they could have a Spell Pierce or something, but I don't know, I'd still like look at it, because there are quite a few mid-range strategies, and it's not just about Bristling Hydras and the like. Even against gift decks, this could be pretty good, like taking their Scarab God or something, or some big 4/4 that actually matters, some big flyer. For example, Angel of Inventions, taking that for a ride for a turn is gonna be game breaking, for instance. I don't know if I want to play cannons in Mardu or rather like just a couple of Chandras. Probably just settle on Chandras, but cannons is probably gonna be a different flavor, and especially like after rotations is gonna take its place in a lot of decks. But Chandra is also like a removal, like a direct impact right off the gates, and you don't have to like work hard on transform in it like with cannons. You just use the abilities. Okay, it's more vulnerable, but I think overall Chandra is a better card than the cannons. But in the red deck, I guess cannons is a bit better. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Next up will be short deck text for Mono Blue Reservoir. Just a viable deck for FRNMs, but probably not as viable for big tournaments because I tested it and it felt like really clunky. I don't know if there is a way to build it in an optimal way so that it actually can, compete with all tier 1 decks. And then the short deck tech in the next tape for, what is the blue-red tempo? The Barrel kind of like hardcore tempo, bunch of counters and drakes and serpents and all that jazz. Kind of cool deck. Haven't really tested it out, but probably soon. Now I'm just refining the list, and but soon I think I'll run it through some short gauntlet with friends. But yeah, thanks, and see you all later.